Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday, and welcome to another week. It is Tisha Talks Live at 4:45. Excited to be here. Although, quick note, it is fall break with the kiddos, and tomorrow I am playing a little bit of hooky, so I will not be here. I'll be back on Thursday with another Tisha Talks Live. But a little housekeeping for you. If you have a chat or if you have a comment, then definitely use the chat box. I do see those. I reply to those on the spot or in the replay right after. So go ahead and ask me any questions, or if you have some comments or just want to say, hey, Tish, I'm here. Yes, thank you. If you are tuning in, love to see who you are. So sharing your name and where you're from, always a good thing. But today, I want to dive into a subject that I heard the other day, and I've heard this time and time again, and it's, are you suffering from analysis paralysis? And one of my clients just shared this with me. We met, and I could tell he was getting some cold feet. I hadn't heard from him, and I was like, dang, that man just ghosted me. But he didn't ghost me. He just had cold feet, and he wasn't sure about how to move forward until I asked him this question. And again, crediting my good friend Adam, who always says this, it's stuck and ingrained in my head, but are you interested or are you committed? Hey, Laura, good to see you. Laura Doyle joining us from Arizona, where I'm at. That's a great question of asking yourself, is this a hobby or is this a business? Because it's totally two different things. So asking yourself again, great question, are you interested or are you committed? There's a very big difference between the two words. And I think that when we say we're interested, it may mean that we're heading to that analysis paralysis. And what does that really mean? It means that when you're talking to someone, you're getting excited, but you're getting scared, but you're pushing the brakes and you're not sure you want to jump on it. And then what happens? We stay stuck in the exact same place. And that is horrible. It is horrible. I've often said this, I say it a lot in my Embracing Failure talks too, but I'm not afraid of failing. Actually, failure is a part of the growth process. Failure is how we keep moving forward, how we learn new things, how we get back up, how we build up that resiliency. The problem is that when we stay stuck for fear of failure, if we stay stuck, we don't find ourselves moving ahead. We're in the same place, and that's when the regret comes in. So today, again, we're talking about analysis paralysis, and have you ever been in those shoes? Now, I know for me, I don't get stuck there, probably because I don't want to be there. I know what that looks like, and I don't want to. So I am already one of those people that's like, if I have an idea, I am going for it. It doesn't matter if it fails. It doesn't matter. I learn in the process, and then I can teach people, and I can keep iterating and getting better. So analysis paralysis. And today I brought up a couple of different tools that I want to share with you as a part of, this COVID-19 and this quarantine. Some of you know my story in that I was really gearing up for professional speaking. In 2020, I was already signed with a couple of different bureaus and agencies. I was like, this is the year. I'm so excited. And Laura, of course, saw me speak at Bank of the West last year, which Laura was actually one of my very first paid speaking gigs. So I was already on my way. And as you guys know the story, overnight, the bottom fell out and I found myself going, what the heck now? What the heck now? So I remember in COVID earlier on, I am very big into vision, into creating that vision, manifesting the vision. And if you don't do this for yourself, you are missing out, because vision really is how we start to move and how we start to create that success consciousness, right? It's how we start to see it and visualize it and say, yes, this is exactly where I'm going to be. So I want to share with you a little something that I created around COVID. I decided to redo my vision board. And of course, this was just when a vision mini book, I should say, this was just when COVID was hitting. And I remember my kids were on the internet and I was like, you know what? I can't mess up your Zoom. So I will sit here and I will actually create and, cut out magazines and do all this. And I want to share this with you because this was in April. This was in April when I was like, yes, professional speaking. No, not professional speaking. It's done. And instead, I decided, you know what, I'm going to create my vision mini board. And this is just one of them. I'll show you what it looks like. But some of you have taken this with me. It's like a little accordion where every single page has, you know, something that really speaks to me, some things that I want to do, some great reminders. But this one really stood out as something I want to share today, especially as we're on that topic of analysis paralysis, because I talked about it. We're in a new decade. What's next? And you know, here of course I have Crush 2020, but here I want to share. I want to book 10 speaking gigs this year. Well, I've already surpassed that because of the virtual world that we're in. I have gotten picked up to do many more virtual speaking gigs, even international speaking gigs way out of India, because it's something that I have manifested and I keep working for it. Here's the other thing. Cover story. I made a cover story this year. I was actually in a Shout Out Arizona cover story, and as well as on several blogs as a featured guest. Do more with video. Well, I don't know about you guys, but you're watching me on video, so it means that I've already manifested that. I ended up getting LinkedIn Live earlier this year. I started a brand new live series with a co-host, Nate Flood, out of Georgia. And then as a big, bold move in September, I started to do this live stream, Tisha Talks, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and it's already been over a month of being able to do these videos. The other thing, build community. Do a TEDx talk. I'm waiting patiently to hear if I made the TEDx Scottsdale Women's event that's coming up in November. And this is what I'm sharing, that these are the things that if you manifest it and you have that vision and you have that success consciousness, you will never fall into analysis paralysis. Why? Because you are driven by your motivation. You are driven by, I've got to get that done. You know, you're driven by that mindset that it is going to happen for you, and you know it'll happen for you. So many of you have already read this book. This is a really great book that, of course, it's been around since 1937. Napoleon Hill wrote this book, and I can't tell you how many free PDFs I've gotten of this book. And it was something that one of my colleagues suggested to me. Yay, yes, Ken, good to see you. One of my good friends, Joseph Rosales, suggested to me, I was part of a mastermind he invited me to, and he's like, you have to read Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I was like, yeah, it's been sitting on my desktop. I have the PDF. But when he told me to read one of the chapters for this mastermind to come prepared, it really kicked my butt in gear. When we have that accountability, when we have a date set in mind, we move to that date. We don't go in analysis paralysis. We don't put it on the back burner because we are being held accountable. I did not want to show up at this mastermind not having done my homework. So instead, I jumped on the book. I love the chapter that I read in this PDF so much that the next day I ended up buying on Walmart.com for $4.20. I ended up buying Think and Grow Rich, and I'm starting to really read that. And yes, Aaron Edwards, thanks for tuning in. Laura, Carmen, thanks for joining me today. So success consciousness is in this book. It talks about, are you failure consciousness or are you success consciousness? And I would also add, are you fear consciousness? Do you have that fear? And that is what's keeping you in analysis paralysis mode where you're like, I can't do it. I'm going to break the news to you. Yes, you can do it. Yes, you can. If I can sit here and say, I'm going to be a professional speaker after being a free speaker for probably 16 years of my life, you can do this. I'm telling you. So one thing I want to share in this book is a principle that I learned in the second chapter. And the second chapter is on this burning desire to succeed, this burning desire. And it goes through some simple principles of believing in you, having a burning desire to be and do, but it also talks about that manifestation and being crystal clear on what it is you want to manifest in the world. And a lot of us are like, well, I could use more money. And I really like in this book, this principle of putting it down on paper and not just saying, wow, I could really use plenty of money, but instead talking about how much money do you want to make? When do you want to make it? And what are the tools and the platforms that you are going to use to get there? You know, I hate to break this to you. It can't just be, I wish for it and it's going to happen. You got to do more than that. It's got to be this wish with a ton of action. a wish and a ton of action. And if you aren't taking action and you're just praying for just success to come your way without actually putting in the action, it ain't gonna happen. So yes, Erin, comparison consciousness. I've been there. I think a lot of us have gone through the imposter syndrome. It's crap. It's crap. It's just like this analysis paralysis we find ourselves in. It's really not a good place to be. And so focusing on your own success, your success consciousness is so much more of a positive spin on getting to where you want to be in life. So what I wanted to share in Think and Grow Rich, I've only read a couple of the chapters, but there's definitely some things about not letting, if you have a disability or if you have something, limiting, that you use that as your excuse. Like I just read this section on Napoleon Hill's son about being born without ears. He has no ears, and he's had every obstacle in his life because he hasn't been able to hear. He goes to school and he can't hear his teachers and so on. And I really love in the book how Napoleon is like, we didn't bring our son up to know that he has these limitations. Instead, we kept encouraging him to keep finding a way. And just love it. You'll have to read it, but his son eventually does get to start hearing and learning and does some amazing things as a result, because he's not willing to let his analysis paralysis or his fear or his comparison or his failure or whatever that is get in his way. So those of you who are tuning in, thanks so much for checking this out live. This is also recorded, so if you have some comments or you want to go back and rewatch this, by all means, I'm always looking at the comments in the replay and would love to chime back in with you. But I'm going to just put this Ken Goose right here. Great to see you as an early adopter of the LinkedIn stories as well. Yes, early adopters. LinkedIn, if you guys are more on Facebook, LinkedIn just rolled out LinkedIn stories. It's very similar to Instagram stories, Facebook stories. So if you are on LinkedIn, that's an amazing platform to be able to start sharing. And it's the same kind of concept. The stories disappear within 24 hours. But I'm not really an Instagrammer. I'm kind of on Facebook. I use stories kind of sparingly. I didn't really see the purpose, honestly. But Ken's saying here, you're an early adopter. The day that it came out, I was like, let me try this bad boy and see what's happening with it. So yes, I say jump in, get your feet wet, and go. The analysis paralysis, keep backing away from things you're supposed to be doing to get to your full potential. You're only going to stay stuck. And again, as I've shared, it's the worst place to be if you're not moving forward. We're put on this earth to keep moving forward, not to stay where we're just stuck. So, okay. All right, guys, I have another quick announcement before we end this broadcast at 5 o'clock. But some of you know I am working really hard on a personal brand builder challenge. It's taking place. Ken has already signed up. There are about 30 people registered for it. Really exciting, all across the country. So next Monday, October 12th through the 16th, my team and I, made up of an image consultant, a copywriter extraordinaire, and a videographer, photographer, we are taking the live stream stage, and we are doing a personal brand builder challenge, a free 5-day challenge to help people get their personal brand going. We realize that a lot of people are not tapping into their personal brand, and there's a lot of reasons why you should be. One, it is your umbrella. So if you want to pivot under your personal brand and try things, it's a really great opportunity to do and test the waters without losing the essence of who you are. And two, it allows you to authentically show up as you and put yourself out there instead of hiding behind the identity or the entity that you have. Erin Edwards, she's a good friend of mine. She's seen me do that. She's seen me through the whole journey, the most uncomfortable journey of trying to build a personal brand and keep it authentic and keep it real and figure out who I am in the process. So I have been there. I've definitely walked the talk. And now it's time to show other people how to walk the talk too and start showing up as their personal brand. So Personal Brand Builder Challenge is the link for that. If you are interested, again, it's a free 5-day program with my team and I, where we're going to be doing a lot of tips, tools, values, and strategies and so forth on how you start to build the personal brand foundation for you to allow you to stop blending in and start standing out by being the real you. And that, again, Personal Brand Builder Challenge, if you are interested or you have friends who can benefit from this, that's what we want. We're here to help people, and that's what we're planning to do. So All right, guys. Thank you so much. It's 5 o'clock. That's my time for the day. I will be back, not tomorrow. Tomorrow I am playing hooky with the kids who are on fall break. We are heading to the park and just letting loose and not keeping track of time. That's the best way to do it. So Thursday I will be back with another Tisha Talks Live. If there is something that you would like for me to touch on, or a question or a burning desire that you have to ask, make sure you ask those, and I will include it on a Tisha Talks Live and throw my own commentary on it. So thanks, guys. Thanks to everyone who tuned in live, and appreciate all of you, and I will see you back on Thursday. Bye.